There are 5 key questions surrounding the housing market and the coronavirus pandemic. I'm going to answer each one of them for you right now on Tom's Take. You're definitely going to want to watch this one. Welcome back to Tom's Take. Obviously, there's a lot of questions. We're in a very fluid situation surrounding the housing market and the coronavirus pandemic. So what I've been doing is listing all the questions that I'm getting from talking to actual consumers, seeing what people are saying and what they want to know regards to the housing market, and then give them the right data so we can help everyone make the proper decision here. So I'm going to go through each one of these questions. There's 5 of them, and I'm going to answer them for you individually. So the biggest question I've been getting is, how do I time this? How do I time the market? And the answer to that is that it really depends. Meaning, you've got to look at safety first, number one. You've got to look at if you're concerned about coming in contact with somebody, maybe you've got a medical condition where it's really critical that you practice social distancing and self-isolation. So that's going to be first and foremost. Then the next part of the question is a little different. So what happens after that? And what we're seeing the most aggressive people do, and the savviest consumers, is they are getting a ton of information right now. They are in the information gathering, real estate agent interview phase to see what's going to happen once we're able to operate in a more free environment. Meaning in Pennsylvania, we're in a tough spot. We are deemed non-essential as of today, which is April 14th. There's a big vote coming up in Harrisburg to open up real estate activities a bit. Hasn't gotten passed yet, so it's a fluid situation. So for people in Pennsylvania, the answer is a lot different. You may have to wait until real estate is able to become essential again. And there's also people that are buying homes sight unseen. So to me, it's all about what are your goals and how are you going to be able to take advantage of things. Rates are very low right now, historically low. There's still very little inventory out there. There's going to be some people that hesitate on the buying side and the selling side. So to me, the answer of how do you time this, there's not a blanket here. There's not a one-size-fits-all answer. That's where it's critical you talk to somebody about your individual needs, your plans, and then start some of the preparation now. Maybe you got to get your home ready. Maybe you've got to get your pre-approval and financing squared away. Now is the time to do that because, let's face it, we all got a little more free time, right? So how do I time this is the number one question, and that answer is going to change day by day. So get in touch with someone that knows what's going on. Secondly, how do showings work, right? That's question number 2. And this has been a big one. So I want to be very clear. If you're in Pennsylvania, a real estate agent cannot show you a house. Any agent that's doing it is doing something illegal, period. And I question any agent that's willing to bend the rules like that. Is that the kind of person you really want to trust to make a real estate decision? So that's number 1. Now, what we have seen buyers do is they're doing drive-bys of homes. They're FaceTiming sellers with an agent there, so like a 3-way FaceTime, and they're doing a video walkthrough of the property to see if the floor plan is going to work. And we've seen the really smart agents in terms of on the listing side before the lockdown happened, they've taken some really detailed video walkthroughs, including the mechanicals of the property. And then what we've seen people do is because of that, because they've had their showing on a virtual way, then they're negotiating a longer term inspection period so they can actually get into the house when we're able to do that. They're using the COVID-19 PAR addendum. So again, this is going to be case by case depending on where you are in the country. Talk to your local association, talk to your local agent. That's what we've seen people do right now is they are going heavy on virtual. And if you don't have an agent that's embracing video right now and embracing technology, you're going to be left behind. It's that simple. 3, how's mortgage financing going? So there's been some changes. Minimum credit scores for FHA and VA loans with lenders have drastically changed. Luckily, we've had some lenders that we can work with them a little bit. Literally, we've seen the day of settlement with a clear to close. Hey, I'm not sure I can fund this loan anymore because our minimum credit scores have changed on FHA and VA loans. So really, really critical to understand that. Jumbo loan financing, some banks have backed off that. And I'm talking about big banks here. And so it's really critical to talk to someone and get a clear understanding of your situation. Because again, it's a very fluid time right now. And whatever you do, don't mess with your debt to income ratios. Don't buy something right now that you don't need to buy if you're planning on making a home purchase in the near future. Because those ratios, that's one of the biggest decision makers for mortgage companies. So we've seen minimum credit scores rise on FHA and VA. We've seen some jumbo loan financing pull back. And again, don't mess with your DTI ratios. So that would be the advice there. And again, this is really important you talk to somebody because it's a very fluid situation. Number 4, what's the process for putting a home on the market? So this to me is where, again, it's really critical the virtual video chat world is being embraced. So step 1 would be to set up an appointment or a video call, a strategy session with an agent who can give you all the information you need. Specifically, here's what homes are selling for. Here's the marketing plan. Get face-to-face with them on a video call to see if you feel comfortable working with them and see how prepared they are and how they're going to be embracing technology. Then, again, Pennsylvania, we're in a tough spot right now, and hopefully that changes with this vote today. If it doesn't, right now, the main things we can do are meet with people. We can help them start to prep their home. We've got some virtual staging instructions, a checklist, a presentation that's prepared for all our clients to go through. We have a virtual buying and selling process laid out for our team. And the whole point here is you need to talk to somebody first. Photography and video, recently that got pushed back from Harrisburg. We were able to do that before. So there's some restrictions here that we're dealing with. And in Pennsylvania, it's a little bit of a tougher situation than it is in other states. And all the more reason that you put a plan in place now to get the right information. And number 5, will the market bounce back? And this to me is probably the biggest question. So I want to give you guys some statistics and data on this. First off, a recession does not mean that the housing market's going to crash. In the last 5 recessions, prices only went down in the housing market twice. One of them was after 2008, where we saw housing prices drop tremendously because of bad lending decisions. You all know the story there. If you don't Google it, the other recession where prices went down, they went down less than 2%. So history is showing us that a recession doesn't mean the housing market's going to tank. What JP Morgan, Morgan Stanley, and Goldman Sachs are predicting is a V-type recovery where with the gross domestic product, which housing makes up 17% of, so big number there, that we're going to see gross GDP, it's going to drop, and we'll put the slide up here, and then it's going to peak back up in a V shape. So it's not going to be a U, it's not going to be anything gradual, it's going to go down, and then it's going to go up once these restrictions are lifted. And a lot of experts out there are predicting revenge buying. And what we also know is leading up to the 2008 crash, housing prices typically went up between 8.5% to 12.5% nationally year over year during that 2000 to 2005 period. In 2014 to 2019, the range that we saw in terms of year over year appreciation is 4.4 to 6.4%. So much more normal appreciation versus some abnormal, tough to sustain appreciation. So what all this means is that the housing market is poised to bounce back. Inventory is still going to be very low. The people that are out there looking are motivated, and interest rates are historically low. So one of the longer videos we did, one of the more important ones, if you got questions, you know where to reach me. Otherwise, we'll be back next week. Feel free. Anything you want to talk about, we're here for you. Take care.